So whenever we celebrate Nityananda Trayadashi, Gaur Purnima, or whenever we get an opportunity to hear about Gauranga and Nityananda, the first thing that we have to do is pay repeated obeisances to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I'm sure, except for few from Orissa and Bengal, others don't know who is Gauranga and Nityananda. Do you all agree? Yes. At least I didn't hear, before coming to ISKCON, I didn't hear who is Gauranga, who is Nityananda. It is only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that the entire world got to know who is Gauranga and Nityananda. And if today we are eager to celebrate this festival of Nityananda Trayadashi, it's by his mercy. If you are understanding the glories and merciful nature of Nityananda Prabhu, it's by his mercy. If at all we are advancing in Krishna consciousness, it's by his mercy. Therefore, very beautifully it is sung, Jadi Prabhupada na hoy to tabe ki hoy to jivana bahita kishe. Very deep, very deep. If Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, who would have given us Gauranga and Nityananda? What would have happened to us if we would have not got Gauranga and Nityananda in our life? If we go back home back to Godhead, this very life, it's by the mercy of Gauranga and Nityananda. There is no other way. They are the kings of this age of Kali. Kali Yuga people, what qualification we have? We don't have any qualification. The only qualification is we are very offensive, very sinful, and all the other wonderful characteristics which Srimad Bhagavatam talks about, Prayanal, Payu, etc. So we don't have any hope. Our hope is Gauranga and Nityananda, and it's by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we have got them in our life. Let's offer our repeated obeisance to Prabhupada and Sri Nityananda Prabhu and begin today's session. Please repeat a wonderful pranam mantra. Nityanandam aham naumi sarvanandam karam param harinam pradam devam avadhuta shiromani. So this particular shloka says, Nityanandam aham naumi sarvanandam karam param. I pay my repeated obeisances to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Sarvananda karam param, who distributes ananda everywhere. Harinam pradam devam. He is the one who gives holy name to people. He distributes for free. We sang just now. Avadhuta Shiromanim. And who is he? Amongst all the Avadhut, he is Shiromani. He is the topmost jewel of the entire group of Avadhut. Avadhut basically means the one who is detached from this world, transcendental, always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Avadhut. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, please repeat. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudoday Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudo. So here it is said, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito. So I pay my repeated obeisances to Gauranga and Nityananda. Who are they? What is their speciality? Gaudoday Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudo. They are the ones who are like the sun and the moon. Guess who is the sun? Gauranga. Who is the moon? You all know everything. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala. So Nityananda Prabhu is always compared to moon. And these two personalities, now sun and moon, they don't rise together. Sun will rise, sun will set, then moon will rise. But on the Gauda Desh, on the horizon of Gauda Desh in Bengal, sun and moon have risen together and they both are visible. They both are visible. And what are they doing? By their illumination, they are dissipating all the darkness of this material world. This is the glory of Gauranga and Nityananda. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur is speaking and glorifying about Nityananda Prabhu. He says, E bhakti gopika ganera kahe bhagavate nityananda haite taha payala jagate. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the mood of gopis are described. How intense they were. How they were always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. How they had that love of Godhead. All that is described. And here, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that mood of gopis which was there, that bhakti that the gopis were doing, Nityananda haite taha paile jagate. So that mood, that devotion of the gopis is awarded to the entire world by this great personality, Sri Nityananda Ram. So if at all, sometimes devotees speak some hilarious things. Oh, if I go to spiritual world, I'll become a gopi. I don't want to change my male body into female body. अरे औकात तो है नहीं. So we don't understand what does that mean, what to do. No, that's what is our low, fallen state, abominable state. But then one thing is very clear. If at all we understand the importance of what is the mode of gopis, what is the devotional service, or what is the level of devotional service they offer to the Lord, how they submit themselves to the Lord and surrender on to the Lord, all that if you are able to understand, it's only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, it is said that Heno Nitai Vinay Bhai Radha Krishna Paite Nai. If you don't attain the mercy of Nityananda, there is no question of attaining Radha and Krishna's eternal service. Not possible. Therefore, Lochan Das Thakur is so heavy in that song, Akoroda Paramananda Nityananda Rai. Lochan bole, say papi. The ones who have not understood, the ones who have not developed the attachment to the lotus feet of Nityananda, say papi. He's papi. He's sinful. Very heavy. So in this way we see Nityananda Ram, Lord Nityananda, is that same personality who accompanies Krishna in Krishna Leela. Brajendra Nandan Jai Sachisuta Hoilo se Balarama Hoilo Nitai. The same Brajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj, that is Krishna, has come as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And same Balram, Rohini Nandan, has come as Nityananda. And he is the same personality who always accompanies the Lord and does various pastimes. But guess what? The mood is different. That same Balram, when he comes as Nityananda, the mood is different. The mood is all about mercy and compassion. So today, we'll try to meditate and contemplate on the qualities of Nitai. In fact, one very important thing that we need to understand is that whenever we have these festivals, if we can absorb ourselves in the glories and the qualities of the great personalities, Lord Himself, that is Nityananda, then the festival is successful. Sometimes what happens is the entire day just goes and doing some activities here and there. We have not heard, we have not chanted properly. Okay, once in a while, once in a year understood, Janmashtami. Yes, with other times, outside people don't know about Nityananda. So at least bothered about preaching to outside people. So the only thing that we have for Nityananda Trayadashi and Gaur Purnima is just chant more and more number of rounds and meditate on the glories and the divine qualities of these great personalities. So let's try to hear the glories and the divine qualities of this great personality, Nitai. To make it easy for everyone to remember and for myself also, the acronym is Nitai. Nitai. And we'll try to understand some divine qualities, some 5 divine qualities of this great personality. Qualities are unlimited. These 5 we'll try to meditate on. First one is N. Never rejects anyone. Lord Nityananda, He never rejects anyone. One thing we have to understand is, yes, the Lordships are all merciful. Sometimes, we do say that more merciful than Krishna is Srimati Radharani, more merciful than her is Gauranga, and more merciful than Gauranga is Nityananda, and more merciful than him is Srila Prabhupada. But one thing that we need to understand is that there can be many most merciful personalities in the first rank itself. Only in the material world we have first rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, etc. But we have to understand one thing, that in spiritual world, everyone can come first and everyone can be there on the first position. Because at times it becomes very difficult. Festivals change, personality change, and that personality becomes most merciful. How is it? How is it? The spiritual mathematics we need to understand. The first position can be taken by multiple personalities, and here we have Nityananda Ram who takes this position of being the most merciful. He doesn't reject anyone. And especially in Gaur Leela, we see Nityananda Prabhu exhibits this quality of not rejecting anyone. See, one thing is Nityananda Prabhu represents Guru Tattva. He is Adi Guru. And this Guru Tattva, when he enters the heart of some living entity, some Jiva Tattva, so at that time, that Jiva Tattva is empowered to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. If Nityananda Prabhu doesn't shower his mercy and that mercy doesn't enter the heart of the Jiva Tattva, there's no question of preaching. Therefore, we say that every life, Guru Tattva personified comes in our life to deliver us, but somehow we miss it. Chakshudan Dilo Jai, Janme Janme Prabhu say. Lifetime after lifetime, we remain foolish. And lifetime after lifetime, Guru Tattva comes to deliver us, and we don't take that help. So what is that Guru Tattva all about? Mercy of Nityananda Ram. So he is that Adi Guru who showers the mercy, empowers the living entity, and that living entity becomes eligible to deliver people in general of this material world. Otherwise, how can someone deliver people of this material world? So that Guru Tattva or that spiritual master represents Nityananda Ram. And we see that the way Nityananda never rejects anyone, similarly, Guru Tattva will not reject anyone, be it Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. Doesn't reject anyone. So one such pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided, I'll go for a South Indian tour, preaching tour. He started from Jagannath Puri. Now it is described when he was starting from Jagannath Puri, Nityananda Ram, he said, I'll also come. I'll also come. He said, no, you cannot come. Then other devotees said, I'll also come. No, you cannot come. And then all the devotees were now understanding that this personality, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, he's always busy chanting. With two hands he chants. With one hand chanting the mantra, counting the mantra, and with the other hand counting the number of rounds. This is what he was doing. So when both the hands are engaged, so who is going to carry your kamandalu, who is going to carry, your clothes? Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu convinced Gauranga, you should take someone with you. And then he introduced a personality. His name was Kala Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Kala Krishna Das. He said, he is Kala Krishna Das. He is very humble, very simple, very straightforward. He will just listen to what you say. He will not speak. You take him. And then he convinced. Nityananda Prabhu convinced Lord Chaitanya, you take him. And Lord Chaitanya agreed. They took him. So Kala Krishna Das all the time will carry all the paraphernalia of the Lord. And the Lord will be busy chanting, dancing, counting with both of his hands. Different places they went, starting from Jagannath Puri, they went to different places. And finally they came to Karnataka, in Malabar district, near Udupi, that side. So they came to that place. And there are a group of Brahmanas called as Nambodari Brahmanas. And they have priests called as Bhattataris. Now this is very nice to understand about these personalities. Bhattataris. They are the ones who are a group, a community, who are very good at black magic, black art, hypnotizing people. And they have this goal, the mission, that they want to increase the number of Bhattataris in their group. And how they will do that? They'll go allure people and get them. They'll cheat women and they'll get them. They'll cheat other men using these women and they'll get them. And that's how the count of the Bhattataris was increasing. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met these people. And the speciality of these Bhattataris is that they are the ones who dress themselves like sannyasis. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. He met another sannyasi, so he was very happy. So after that exchange, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu moved on. But Kala Krishna Prabhu, somehow he was allured by the woman of the Bhattataris group. So they slept. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Kal Krishna Das, they both slept. They took rest at the night. And early in the morning, Kal Krishna Das left without telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he entered the group of Bhattataris. He was allured by the woman there. And he went there, and his Lord is Lord. He knows where his servants are going. So he understood that he has gone into the group of these Bhattataris. He is allured by the woman there. He is enticed by the woman. And when all this was happening, Kala Krishna Das, he was illusioned completely, hypnotized, and he was enjoying there with the woman. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in a sannyasi roop, he enters the group of Bhattataris, and there when he enters, he is very angry. He is saying that you are a sannyasi, I am a sannyasi, why are you keeping my servant with you? Release my servant. And he loudly shouted. And various personalities from that group, Bhattataris, they came with weapons. And by the potency of the Supreme Lord, the weapons which they were getting, those weapons started hitting them. And some of the personalities were cut into pieces by their own weapons. And looking at that, other people who were there, they all ran off from that place. And Lord Chaitanya, he looked at Kala Krishna Das. He held his hair and dragged him from that place. Come. And the yatra continued. Therefore, Shikha is very important. Pulled him. And then he dragged him, and the yatra continued. But when they came to Jagannath Puri, everyone was very happy. His Lord came after 2 years to Jagannath Puri, and all the devotees were waiting and waiting and waiting. How can Baddha Jivas like us understand the personal, intimate association of the Lord? How can we understand what it means to take darshan of the Lord, serve Him personally, get His remnants, massage His feet? How can we understand? And here were the residents of Jagannath Puri. Every single day they would get darshan of this beautiful golden form with long arms reaching till the knees. How can we understand and comprehend? So when the Lord left Jagannath Puri, there was a huge thunderbolt that struck the hearts of devotees. And when the devotees in Navadvip Dham, when they got to know that Lord has gone away from Jagannath Puri, there were multiple thunderbolts which strike their hearts, especially for Sachi Mata and Advaitacharya and others. And when the Lord comes back to Jagannath Puri, there was a different festival altogether. That Lord has come, they were all receiving. And all this was happening in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So many devotees left. It was only Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya told Sarvabhauma, call that Kal Krishna Das, call him. And then he started saying that this person was supposed to be my assistant of a sannyasi. He went into a group of women, enticed by women, and was enjoying with women. I reject him. He shouldn't be seen here in this place. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejecting a devotee. And as soon as this was heard that Kal Krishna Das was rejected, Kal Krishna Das started crying piteously. Other devotees also heard that Kal Krishna Das is rejected. And Kal Krishna Das is one of the associates of Nityananda Prabhu. And now when Nityananda Prabhu heard this, Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit and other devotees, they all had a meeting, preaching meeting. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is rejected. What to do? So all merciful Nityananda Ram, he came up with the idea. And he said that people in Navadvip are also hankering to know what's the message, what's the information about the Lord. Has he come back from South Indian Yatra or no? So let's send Kala Krishna Das to Navadvip Dham. Let him go and give the message. Let him be engaged in some service. How can a devotee be removed from the service? So we have to engage him in the service of Lord Chaitanya. Now Lord Chaitanya is rejected. Now they have to go and take permission. So very nicely, very cunningly, very intelligently, Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees, they go to Lord Chaitanya and they say, many devotees in Navadvip, they want to know about you. They're all feeling the pangs of separation from you. Oh Lord, we have to send some devotee to Navadvip Dham. And Lord Chaitanya said, do whatever you want, whatever pleases you. And the devotee said, Hare Krishna. And the devotees happily sent Kal Krishna Das with lot of Jagannath Prasad, and he went to Navadvip Dham. First he met Sachi Mata, paid obeisance to her, delivered the Prasad, and then Sachi Mata heard the news that Lord has come back to Jagannath Puri. She was extremely happy. Then he went to Advaita Acharya's house. There he delivered Prasad, spoke to Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was dancing in ecstasy. And all the devotees, they were very happy to receive Kal Krishna Das. And this personality, Kal Krishna Das, is the personality who spoke the details of South Indian Yatra. If today we are able to hear about South Indian Yatra of Lord Chaitanya, it's by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. If Nityananda Prabhu wouldn't have engaged Kal Krishna Prabhu in the service of speaking about South Indian Yatra, we wouldn't have got elaborate description in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Lord's Yatra. Lord never rejects anyone. Lord Nityananda never rejects anyone. Same mood we see in Srila Prabhupada. Once a temple president got into intoxication. They were hippies. Became happies. Again, he wanted to become a hippie. And this news came to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada heard that temple president has gone into intoxication. Now, temple president means what? 4 years, 5 years senior in Krishna consciousness. So, spending 4 years, 5 years in Krishna consciousness, he is given sannyas, he is given this role of temple president, zonal head, GBC, and all that. It was okay, this person getting into intoxication. And when Srila Prabhupada heard this from Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, tell him that I reject him. I'll reject him if he does not give up his intoxication. And this message was given to the president. And obviously, he gave up intoxication. But this question was asked immediately to Srila Prabhupada by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Will you really reject him? Will you really reject him? And Srila Prabhupada smiled and he said, no. I'll not reject him. If I reject him, then what is the hope for him? If the Guru rejects, then what is the hope for the disciple? Same thing we hear from another senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So this senior disciple, great Maharaj, so this Maharaj disciple, he separated out from ISKCON. He established his own organization, pulled this sannyasi again and again to the court. So other disciples were telling that Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, give up this person. Give up this person from your association. And at that time, the spiritual master in ISKCON, he says, if I reject him, then what is the hope for him? Therefore, the first quality that we see in Nityananda Prabhu and his representatives is never reject anyone. They don't reject anyone. So in this way, we see that how Lord Nityananda, he engaged Kal Krishna Das even when Kal Krishna Das was rejected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's another person who was rejected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chota Haridas. Now, one difference that we see is that Kal Krishna Das was the associate of Nityananda Prabhu. Chota Haridas was directly the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Chota Haridas, the only thing that he did was he left his body in Triveni Sangam. And Lord was okay with that. And even here, when Kal Krishna Das was rejected, Kal Krishna Das is sitting and crying there. Gauranga, he looked at him, he just left for taking bath and having lunch. He didn't bother. So one thing that we see is that when someone is a servant of the Lord, safest position. Safest position. Therefore, one has to take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu and his representatives to advance in bhakti. It's but obvious we fallen souls will keep falling every now and then. Little bit we come up, fall. Come up, fall. So this is very natural. for living entities of this world in the age of Kali. Therefore, when we take shelter of the Lord Nityananda and his associates, his representatives, we are safe. This is the point that is made here. Never reject anyone. This is the first quality. I. Always immersed in service. Immersed in service is the next quality. Now it's very nice to see that the word Nityananda itself is so blissful. Nitya Ananda. Eternally happy. And in this world, everyone is searching for happiness. Everyone. Everyone is searching for happiness, including us as devotees. So how Nityananda is Nityananda? That's the question. How is he eternally happy? He's eternally happy because I is immersed in service of the Lord. So when a devotee is immersed in service of the Lord, naturally that happiness comes because that is what is the natural constitutional position of a living entity. Jivera Swarup hoy Krishna ra Nityadas. And here we see Nityananda is always immersed in the service of the Lord. He expands himself as Dham. He expands himself as the various paraphernalia of the Lord, including the conch, the umbrella, the clothes of the Lord, and other paraphernalia. And he keeps serving the Lord every now and then in various ways. Sometimes when Nityananda serves the Lord is very happy, externally also. And sometimes when Lord Nityananda serves the Lord, sometimes the Lord is very angry externally, but internally he is very pleased. So we are expected to do the first thing, to make the Lord happy internally and externally. Yes. We cannot enact the pastime of Nityananda Ram. Externally Lord is angry, but I am sure Lord is internally happy. We cannot have that confirmation. So Nityananda Prabhu would do various services for the Lord, and he was so intimate with the Lord. There's one pastime when, after taking sannyas from Katwa, Lord took sannyas only for one reason: he wanted to go to Vrindavan Dham. And as soon as he took sannyas, he started from Katwa, he started towards Vrindavan. And when he started running towards Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu, he knew the inner desire of the Lord. He knew what the devotees will go through. So he made sure and he made some arrangement. And this arrangement was something which was very nice. Nityananda Prabhu went ahead and he told the cowherd boys there grazing the cows, when a sannyasi comes here and he asks, where is Vrindavan? Which path is there to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham? Direct him towards Navadvip, towards Shantipur. And Lord Chaitanya came, he was in ecstasy, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he asked the cowherd boys there, grazing the cows, Vrindavan Dham? I don't know in Bengali what they say. Kotha Jabo. where to go to Sri, from which path can we go to Sri Vrindavan Dham? And at that time, the cowherd boys who were there, they said, this path. This is actually the other path. And Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy. He turned, he started going towards that path. He looked at Ganga. And when he looked at Ganga, he was like, oh, I have reached this Jamuna. And he jumped in Ganga, considering it to be Jamuna. And he was ecstatic. Ecstatic. Nityananda Ram is standing on the bank of the river. And there comes Advaita Acharya on the boat. Now it was all Nityananda Prabhu's plan. Nityananda Prabhu had told Chandrasekhar, because Chandrasekhar was there during sannyas. So he told Chandrasekhar, go and tell Advaita to come fast with a new set of clothes, saffron clothes, and come in the boat and give the clothes to the Lord and take him to your place. So now Advaita Acharya is coming on the boat. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy, great ecstasy. I am in Vrindavan, I am taking bath in Jamuna, the same river where the Supreme Lord Krishna did his various pastimes. He is in ecstasy. Advaita Acharya comes, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is looking at Advaita Acharya. And he becomes even more happy. He says, oh Advaita, you have also come to Vrindavan. And at that time, Advaita Acharya says, oh Lord, wherever you are there, that place is Vrindavan. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt kuch to alag hai. Something is different. And then Advaita Acharya revealed and he said, that, oh Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. But as of now, you are near to my house called Shantipur. And Lord, he looked angrily at Nityananda Prabhu. This person has cheated me. Lord was very angry. But Nityananda Prabhu knew internally Lord is very pleased. And at that time, Advaita Acharya said, no, no, he's correct. This is Jamuna only. Chaitanya was looking at him. How Jamuna? So there's one place where Ganga and Yamuna meet and they start flowing. So one side is Ganga and other side Yamuna. So Lord is taking bath on the side where Yamuna is flowing. So Lord, you're taking bath in Yamuna only. And like this, Advaita Acharya spoke to the Lord and took him to his house in Shantipur. Both Gauranga and Nityananda, they went to the house of Advaita Acharya. Someday we'll discuss this elaborately, that how Advaita Acharya had made 750 kilos of rice and he had divided into 3 plates, 250, 250, 250. One was for Krishna, another 2 was for Gauranga and Nityananda. Now in Gauranga and Nityananda, when they came to that place and when it is offered, not just rice, a lot of other items were there, huge. When they saw that, Gauranga was very happy. Oh, what devotion! So much of bhoga is made. There was one asan that was put for Krishna. There was 2 other asan which were there. So at that time, he started glorifying. Chaitanya started glorifying Advaita. Oh, you have so much of devotion. I'm so pleased to come to your place. And Advaita said, oh Lord, these 2 seats are for you. Please sit. So they both sat. Lord Chaitanya was like, how will I eat this? And Advaita said, this is very less, bro. This is very less. Oh Lord, this is very less. In Jagannath Puri, you eat tons and tons of food. This is very less for you. But Nityananda was in a different mood altogether. Nityananda Prabhu said, from last 3 days I was fasting. Look at this Brahmana. Such little food. Looks like I have to fast again. And Advaita he's furious. He said, oh Lord, whatever is offered, eat that and be satisfied. And Nityananda Prabhu is like, you are a Brahmana, you cannot speak all this. Sannyasis have come to your place and you have to feed the sannyasis. And Advaita Acharya started saying, never I'll invite sannyasis again to home. You are a dongi sannyasi. And Nityananda Prabhu took some rice from his plate and he threw on the ground and one grain touched Advaita Acharya and Advaita Acharya started jumping in ecstasy. There, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, whenever there's argument between Advaita and Nityananda, he makes a statement and he says, never take side of anyone. Anyone who takes side of either of the person will go to hell. Because the transcendental discussion, conversation that is happening. So in this way, Nityananda Prabhu, he served the Lord. This service was very, very important. Because when Lord came to Shantipur, Nityananda Prabhu had given a message to devotees in Navadvip, especially to Sachi Mata, that please come to Shantipur. Lord has come to Shantipur. Sachi Mata came. This was immediately after sannyas. Sachi Mata has not taken darshan of the Lord. She comes to Shantipur. And in the house of Advaita Acharya, there was 3-day festival that was held. And guess what? Who was the cook? It was Sachi Mata. She, with her own hand, with a lot of love and devotion for her own son, she was cooking. She was offering it to the Lord. And it was getting distributed to the devotees. And there was an amazing festival. This is what Lord Nityananda did. This is the service. Lord Chaitanya was happy. Sachi Mata was happy. And all the devotees were happy. And that is the point when even our Raghunath Das Goswami comes to that place and gets darshan for the first time of Lord Chaitanya. Can you see what Lord Nityananda did? One trick and so many different things got achieved. And at that time, Sachi Mata begs the Lord, don't go to Vrindavan. If you stay close to Navadvip, close to Bengal, I'll get all your whereabouts and I'll be happy. I'll at least know about you. Because at that time, Lord Chaitanya was telling Sachi Mata, somehow in madness I took sannyas. If you want, I'll come back home. And Sachi Mata is like, what are you speaking? Don't come home, but stay close to home. And that's how it was decided that Lord will stay in Jagannath Puri. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu's service. One trick and all these things got achieved. Now when Lord, he started for Jagannath Puri from Shantipur. Nityananda Prabhu was there and other devotees were there. They came to one place. They came to one place, a place called Kamalapura. And there flows a river called Bhargi Nadi. Now Lord wanted to take bath in Bhargi Nadi. And he gives a sannyas danda to Nityananda Prabhu. Please take care. He goes, takes bath in Bhargi Nadi, and then he goes and takes darshan of Lord Shiva nearby called Kapoteshwara. He goes and takes darshan. And when Lord is taking darshan of Lord Shiva there, Nityananda Prabhu very easily broke the danda into 3 pieces, threw it into Bhargi Nadi. And when Lord comes back, they move more closer to Jagannath Puri. It was just 6 miles distance from Jagannath Puri. They see the chakra. Lord Chaitanya pays obeisance to chakra. He is in ecstasy. He is dancing in ecstasy. Other devotees are dancing in ecstasy. And again they start walking. And that distance of 6 miles was seeming like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers for Lord Chaitanya. They come to a place called Atarnala. And there, when Lord comes back to his external consciousness, so he looks at Nityananda Prabhu and he says, "Oh Nityananda, give my sannyas danda." And at that time, Nityananda Prabhu said, "It got broken into 3 pieces. And I don't know where it is." And Lord Chaitanya has a big question mark on his face. And he's asking Nityananda, "What happened?" And at that time, look at what Nityananda Prabhu is telling. Nityananda Prabhu is telling that actually you went into ecstasy. You started dancing and singing. You were about to fall and I held you and I couldn't balance myself. And we both fell on the danda and danda broke into 3 pieces. After that, where it went, I don't know. And Lord Chaitanya was so angry externally. So angry. Internally, he was very pleased. Because Nityananda Prabhu had got a different mood altogether, which our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he writes in his commentary. He says that Lord had taken Mayavadi sannyas, Mayavad sannyas. And Nityananda Prabhu knew this is not proper. And when someone takes sannyas, there are different levels of sannyas. Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivrajakacharya, Paramhamsa. So Kutichak and Bahudak are the ones who hold sannyas danda. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is holding sannyas danda. And Nityananda Prabhu is thinking, that Lord whom I hold in my heart is holding a danda. And he is there in this initial few stages of sannyas. No, he is greater than Paramhams. Paramhamsas don't hold danda. And that too, if you have to hold, then it has to be 3 danda. Firstly, no danda. So let me take away that danda. And it has to be 3 danda, 3 pieces. Throw it. So when all this was done by Nityananda Prabhu, thinking all these different things, Lord was internally very pleased, but externally he was very angry. Now again, this is a very nice thing to note, that by doing this, again Nityananda Prabhu did a nice service. Now Lord need not carry his danda. He can just sing and dance in ecstasy. And it is proved that he is much, much greater than Paramhams, who does not need a danda in the hand. When they went to Jagannath Puri, a lot of time was spent. And there was an instruction that was given to Nityananda Prabhu, go to Bengal and preach. Don't come to Jagannath Puri every year. But every year Nityananda Prabhu would come and stand in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, I told you not to come. But internally, again, Lord Chaitanya would be very happy because he was taking darshan of his own beloved associate, who was much more dearer to him than his own self. So in this way, we see that how Nityananda Prabhu is involved in so many different services, sometimes giving external and internal pleasure to the Lord, and sometimes only internal pleasure. Externally, Lord was seemingly angry. So anyone who gets absorbed, immerses himself in Krishna consciousness, in services, selflessly rendering to the Lord, what happens? That person will be happy all the time. Nityananda. Like Nityananda, he'll also be Nityananda. Therefore, it's very, very important to note, for a living entity, for a Baddha-jeev, serving the Lord selflessly will give happiness, will give satisfaction. There is no other way. There is no other way to get eternal satisfaction and happiness. And Lord Nityananda is proving by his own example. Srila Prabhupada also did the same thing. Always immersed in services. When the Juhu case was going on, when Mr. N was giving a lot of trouble to the devotees, not signing the agreement and all that was going on, Srila Prabhupada was there in West preaching. And there were telegrams which were coming from Giriraj Maharaj that this has happened, that has happened. Prabhupada would be always tensed. He would be looking at his various disciples, speaking to his very close associates. And at that time, it is said that Prabhupada would be tense and he would be speaking with so much of anxiety to these disciples. And at night, when he would go to write his books, the disciples say that Prabhupada was as blissful as he was before, untouched by all the tension of this world. When someone is immersed in service, Prabhupada is teaching us, when someone is immersed in service, naturally he'll be blissful. So at that time, that is a service, so he's doing that service. Now this is the service, he's doing this service. Immersed in that service, always blissful. In fact, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they speak this in various interviews, that how Srila Prabhupada, at every moment, he was immersed in the service of the Lord, and at every moment, he was blissful. Looking at his blissful face, they would get bliss. They would forget the entire world. They would get bliss. So in this way, immersing oneself in the service of the Lord is the key to that Nitya Ananda, which Nityananda is showing by his own example. So two qualities we have discussed till now. First, never rejects anyone. Second, immersed in service, giving pleasure to the Lord externally and internally. And the next 20, tolerant. Tolerant and humble. This is very nice to note. Same personality in Krishna Leela as Balaram. Oh, intolerant. Same personality. Pralambasur came to Krishna's dham in Vrindavan, and he just participated in the entire play that was going on. And Pralambasur was carrying Nityananda, carrying Balaram on his shoulders. The only thing that Pralambasur did was, he took Nityananda another direction. Now for your information, Pralambasur did a service to Balaram. He was carrying Balaram on his shoulders, give him a nice ride in Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham. And just little bit, he deviated from other devotees, other gopas who were playing. And this Balaram, at that time, he understood that he is a demon. And when he understood that he is a demon, he increased his weight without increasing his size. He increased his weight, and this Pralambasur, in that Gopavesh, he was not able to bear that weight, and he immediately came to his original form of being an Asur. And Balaram, with just one mukka, one fist, killed him. And all the Gopas, they were all glorifying, amazing, amazing. You killed this great demon, amazing. Now same Balaram, when the Kurukshetra battle was about to start, at that time he said, no, I'll not get into all this. I don't want to see bloodshed. I don't want to kill anyone. This is the fight between kinsmen. I don't want to get into all this fight. I'm going for Tirth Yatra. He went for Tirth Yatra. And in Tirth Yatra, he entered an assembly where one person called Romaharshana Sutta was present there. Romaharshana Sutta had got a benediction that he will live for a span of Brahma's lifetime, Brahma's day. For one day of Brahma is going to live. Now this is a huge benediction. So Romaharshana Sutta was there in his own mood. Balaram enters the assembly, everyone stood up. But Romaharshana Sutta, he was sitting. And Balaram got so angry on him. क्या किया बस उठे नहीं ठीक है क्या प्रॉब्लम है he didn't get up but Balram took it as an offense. He took one blade of grass and he pierced the grass in the body of Romaharshana Sutta, and Romaharshana Sutta died on the spot. Hari Bol. Can you imagine the tolerance level of Balram? But the same person, when he comes as Nityananda, and when Madhai hits him with that pot, and that pot hits his forehead and the blood starts coming out from the forehead, still Nityananda did not do anything to Madhai. He did not harm Mother in any ways. Even when Lord Chaitanya comes there with chakra in the hand, Nityananda is begging Lord Chaitanya that please leave him. He's begging Lord Chaitanya that not to do anything to him. In fact, he's begging Lord Chaitanya, you give these two personalities, Jagai and Madhai, as charity to me. All the punya that I've done in the past, if I've done any devotional service, all that let it be given to Madhai. See, one thing we have to understand, talking about our day-to-day life. See, naturally, sometimes we don't like someone. Naturally. We don't like someone. Say someone hurts us, someone blasphemes us, or some person has done some gossip about us and we get to know, we don't like that person. And when we don't like someone, naturally, you will not share that commodity that you have, which is very, very dear to your heart. You will not share. And here you look at Nityananda Prabhu, he has got something which entire world wants, and that is happiness. That is Krishna Prem, Gaur Prem. And here he is giving to that personality who has hurt him very badly. Blood is flowing from his forehead. And at that time he was awarding Krishna Prem to that personality who was the cause of that bleeding. This is Nityananda Prabhu. This is Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, we understand that when the same Balram, when he comes in this Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, in this beautiful form, that is Nityananda Ram, he has a different mood altogether, and the mood is only this: tolerate, tolerate, tolerate. Give mercy, give mercy, give mercy. This is the mood of this great personality. So it's very, very important to note and understand that how humbly Nityananda Prabhu is going door to door. Same person who killed Romarchana Sutta is going door to door, and he's falling at the feet of people, chant the holy names of Krishna. And when someone is not chanting, he's rolling on the ground. No, you have to chant, you have to chant. He could have taken another blade of grass. Will you chant or no? He could have done that. Are you the same Balram? With his plow, he had pulled the entire Jamuna in another direction. With his plow, he just made sure that Jamuna will not flow. He pulled the entire land in one time in one of the pastime. With same plow, he would have just took. Will you chant or no? Again, once again. From another hand, one fist and Pralambasur was killed. Same Nityananda Ram is falling at the feet of people with utter humility. There's no question of pride at all in Nityananda Prabhu. No question of pride. And that person who is prideless is childish. Childish means having innocence of a child. And we see in the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu, when he's there in the house of Malini and Srivas Thakur, he had his own pastimes of a child. Sometimes he would just roam around naked in the entire place. One day he came to the house of Nimai and he stood naked in front of the Lord. And Nimai was sitting with his wife and they were having some personal conversation. And at that time, Nimai is asking Nitai, "Hey Nitai, why are you not wearing any clothes?" And then Nitai started saying, "I'll not go to that place." "But why are you not wearing these clothes?" "I'll not eat that." Why are you not properly answering to the question that I am asking?" "I'll not go to that place." And Nimai personally with his own hands dressed Nityananda Ram. And it's described that Nitai was always there in ecstasy, immersed in ecstasy, only because he had that innocence of a child, imbued with love of Godhead. This is the quality of a great personality. Here we're speaking about the Lord, but when I'm describing in such a way that we can learn something, thinking him to be a great devotee. Now just imagine that all those people who attain that pure devotional service and they perfect their life in pure devotional service, naturally their heart becomes very soft, innocent like that of a baby. So at times they are innocent like a baby, and at times they are stronger than a thunderbolt. And this you can see in Srila Prabhupada's pastime. This you can see in the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada's disciples also. Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they do say this in various interviews, At times, Srila Prabhupada was like a thunderbolt. And at times, Srila Prabhupada would behave like a small child. This was the glorious pastime of this pure devotee, that is Srila Prabhupada. Look at the tolerance level of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's tolerance level is derived from Nityananda Prabhu. After all, Guru Tattva. Srila Prabhupada was so very tolerant. There were times when Srila Prabhupada would stand in queue to use washroom. Early morning when devotees get up, the most important thing that gives a lot of tension and anxiety to a devotee is, will I get the bathroom to take bath or not? Especially in brahmachari ashram and basis, all these things can be seen. And at that time, it was all temple residents only. Everyone would live in the temple. And this was in South Africa or somewhere where Srila Prabhupada, not South Africa, someplace, where Srila Prabhupada, he got up and there was a huge queue for using that washroom. And Srila Prabhupada also stood in the line. Disciples saw that Srila Prabhupada is standing. They also stood. No one gave Srila Prabhupada way to go and use the washroom. Can you imagine Srila Prabhupada was standing? And only when his number came, he entered the bathroom. In another instance, Srila Prabhupada's clothes were put for drying. And early in the morning, when you are supposed to go for Mangalarti and you don't find your clothes, you know the anxiety. Who took my clothes? Who took my clothes? Sometimes devotees come and complain to me also. Prabhuji, my clothes are missing in the morning. This devotee stole. Now just imagine that we find someone wearing those clothes and they come for Mangalarti. You come to Mangalarti with another set of clothes. And when you see that this is your set of clothes, how angry you will be on that person. Srila Prabhupada's clothes were stolen. And Srila Prabhupada is sitting on the Vyasasana giving Bhagavatam class. And Srila Prabhupada, he sings Jai Radha Madhav. He opens his eyes and he sees that one disciple is wearing his dhoti, another disciple is wearing his kurta, another disciple is wearing his uttari. And Srila Prabhupada very humbly, the only thing that he told in the class at that time was, it's an etiquette that one shouldn't wear one's spiritual master's clothes. That's it. That's it. My God, tolerance level of Srila Prabhupada. Once Srila Prabhupada was there in the Bowery, and the disciples, at that time they were not disciples, they were just newcomers who were coming. And they were looking towards the wall and they were sitting. Now can you imagine? Just imagine I'm giving class and all of you are turning towards the wall. In different direction, different walls. So at that time a reporter came. And reporter is asking Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, what are your disciples doing? And Srila Prabhupada is saying, I also don't know. Krishna, look at the tolerance level of Srila Prabhupada. One Srila Prabhupada was sitting at one place and these hippies, they are putting tilak. So they took chandan, gopi chandan, and they were rubbing in the hand, put water. And one hippie is helping other hippie to put tilak. Now the tilak got dried. Now look at what this hippie did. Two. He put his saliva and he started mixing the tilak. And that time Srila Prabhupada was looking at all this. Srila Prabhupada got some water and gave it to this hippie. He said, use this. Oh. What all Srila Prabhupada tolerated. What all Srila Prabhupada tolerated. Even we are not less. When we do some nasty activities, staying in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada just tolerates. Therefore, this quality of tolerance and humility is so very important. And we see Nityananda Prabhu is a personification of tolerance and humility, and his representatives are the personification of tolerance and humility. So in this way, we see that Nityananda Prabhu, because of his tolerance and humility, he went around preaching to different places, to different personalities, and he delivered so many people. Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu is called as all merciful personality. So 3 qualities we have seen. N-I-T. N. Never rejects anyone. I. Immersed in service, so is Nityananda. T. Tolerant and humble. Next is A. A stands for attachment to the holy name. Nityananda Prabhu would always keep chanting the holy names of Gauranga. Always. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says this in Chaitanya Bhagavat. He says, Sadai japena nama Shri Krishna Chaitanya Swapne ona hika Nityananda mukhe anya. Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is very attached to Nityananda Prabhu. When he is writing Chaitanya Bhagavat, you will see that so much he has written about Nityananda Prabhu. And in one place he is writing this particular verse and he says, Sadai japena nama Shri Krishna Chaitanya. All the time, Lord Nityananda was chanting the holy names of Gauranga. All the time. So someone might have a question, all the time? But when he's sleeping, I'm sure he might not be chanting. And Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Swapne o nahika Nityananda mukhe anya. Even in the dreams, Nityananda Prabhu would chant the holy names of Gauranga. This is called as attachment to the holy name of the Lord. Always attached. So much attracted. So much taste for chanting the holy name. Nityananda Prabhu is proving that. Once in Jagannath Puri, Gauranga was sitting in one place and he called Nityananda Prabhu. And there was a serious discussion that happened between the two. And that serious discussion was about preaching. Lord Chaitanya said, Hey Nityananda, you are a munificent personality. But you are here in Jagannath Puri, sitting like a muni. You are not preaching. I instruct you that you should go to Bengal and start preaching. Deliver everyone by giving the holy name to them. I cannot go to those places. Now I'm a sannyasi. I cannot enter the society and preach to anyone and everyone. You go, Nityananda. So Nityananda Prabhu took this instruction as his life and soul. And he started with his associates. Vrindavan Das Thakur gives a list of his associates. Ramdas, Gadadhar Das Mahashay. So this Gadadhar Das Mahashay is different from Gadadhar Pandit. Raghunath Vaidya, Krishnadas Pandit, Parameshwari Das, and Purandara Pandit. I'm reciting these names because Nityananda Prabhu might be very pleased when he hears these names. So all of them, they started. And all of them, they are Balram's associate in the spiritual world. So Balram and his Gopas. So they were in the same mood of Gopas. And Nitai is in the mood of Balram, in the mood of that Gopa. And all of them in the mood of Gopas, immersed in Krishna consciousness, imbued with love of Godhead, they started from Jagannath Puri. And they were so ecstatic, it is described that they started chanting the holy names. And this Ramdas, associate of the Lord, was so ecstatic chanting the holy names that he stood in the pose of Krishna. And everyone going in circle, they were dancing and chanting the holy names of the Lord. And guess what? This pastime happened for how long? Vrindavan Das Thakur gives a report and he says, this pastime where Ramdas is standing in threefold bending form, holding a flute, that pose, and devotees dancing around him, went on for 9 hours. 9 hours. 9 hours of continuous chanting. Nityananda Prabhu is chanting, his associates are chanting. They started from Jagannath Puri and the chanting, they went on to another direction. And after some time, they asked the people there that, where is the path which takes us to Ganga? And they said, alas, alas, you have come such a far distance. You have come 6 hours far from that distance, from that place. And they said, okay, no problem. They were blissful. Again, they started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they started chanting and dancing and they started going to another direction. And after some time, again they asked someone, so where is the way that takes us to Gaudadesh? And the person said, alas, alas, you have come 6 miles away from that place. They went in another opposite direction. And like this, going in different directions. Finally, by the Supreme Lord's inconceivable potency, they reached Bengal. Can you imagine the attachment to the holy name? This is the attachment to the holy name that Lord has and his associates have. This attachment is something that every devotee should aspire for and hanker for. Without this attachment to the holy name, there is no question of going back home back to Godhead. If you're not attached to the holy name, it means we'll not be able to chant 24 by 7. If you're not chanting 24 by 7, then our consciousness is not Krishna conscious for 24 by 7. If our consciousness is not Krishna conscious for 24 by 7, then we cannot remember Krishna at the time of death. And if we don't remember Krishna at the time of death, we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. And successfully again we'll take birth in this material world and celebrate our birthdays. Can you imagine? So how will we come to this stage? Therefore, it's very important that we understand what do you mean by attachment to the holy name of the Lord. Very, very important. And here we understand that how much Nityananda Prabhu is attached to the holy name and how much his associates are attached to the holy name. With this attachment, chanting and dancing, they entered Bengal, and their first place they came to was Panihati Dham. They came to Panihati. And there's one devotee who stays in Panihati, and his name is Raghav Pandit. What is Raghav Pandit known for in Chaitanya Lila? He is known for his cooking. In his kitchen, Srimati Radharani personally comes and cooks. And whenever he cooks, Gauranga will appear in that place and accept his offering. He is known for that. So Nityananda Prabhu came with his associates. Raghav Pandit was very, very happy to receive Nityananda and his associates. And it is described that 3 Ghosh brothers were present in that place. Who are the 3 Ghosh brothers? Vasudev Ghosh, Govinda Ghosh, and Madhav Ghosh. Hari Bol. These are 3 Ghosh brothers. Madhav, Govind, and Vasudev. And these 3 are known for their singing, transcendental singing. When they sing, the Supreme Personality of God is in ecstasy. He jumps in ecstasy. Gauranga I'm talking about, yes, Nityananda, they would jump in ecstasy. And they were asked to dance. They were asked to sing. And when they started singing, Lord Nityananda started dancing and singing. And it's described his dance was so ecstatic, that anyone who saw that dance, they went into ecstasy and they started jumping and dancing. When that entire dance was going on, here is a description of Vrindavan Das Thakur, that when Nityananda Prabhu was dancing and chanting with that attachment to the holy name, his associates were also dancing and chanting. And the associate went mad dancing and chanting. And this madness, someday we'll discuss in great elaborate details. But just to summarize, the dancing was so mad that some associate would jump on the tree and start dancing on the thin branches and leaves of the tree. And still the branch would not break by the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Some devotee will get into so much of ecstasy, dancing and chanting, that he'll uproot the tree and start dancing with that tree. And one devotee entered the forest and he uprooted many trees. And he started dancing with that. And in this way, the ecstatic dance went on and on and on. And this state of ecstasy remained in Panihati Dham, in the house of Raghav Pandit, for 3 months. 3 months the devotees were chanting and dancing. Nityananda Prabhu was chanting and dancing with that attachment to the holy name. And the state was so transcendental, so very transcendental, that for 3 months devotees didn't eat, devotees didn't sleep. The only thing that they did was chant and dance. Don't try this at home. Will not work. This is called as attachment to the holy name. Oh, next level of attachment. Next level of attachment. Srila Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of the Lord, same attachment to the holy name, intense attachment to the holy name. Always chanting. Always chanting. To such an extent, even when Srila Prabhupada was there on his divine bed from which he left this world, which the bed that is still there in Sri Vrindavan Dham in Prabhupada's house, it was seen that Srila Prabhupada's tongue was moving, chanting the holy name, even when he was about to leave the body. And those people who have attachment to the holy name, they are the ones who can go around and give this message of Krishna consciousness to the entire world. The ones who are attached to the holy name can make others attached to the holy name. If we are not attached to the holy name, how can someone give this attachment to anyone? Therefore, it's very, very important to understand that attachment to the holy name is very important. And we have to beg and pray. Sometimes we devotees become clueless what to pray for. What should we pray for? And these are things that we have to pray for. But oh Lord, please give me attachment, and taste for chanting your holy names, for serving your lordships in Vrindavan consciousness. Very, very important. And here we see Nityananda Prabhu attached to the holy name. So in this way, Nitya has got these wonderful qualities and never rejects anyone. I, immersed in service. T, tolerance and humility. And A, attachment to the holy name. And the last I, it stands for intense bhakti. Nityananda Prabhu's devotional service, his intense mood of devotional service, oh, who can match? Who can match? And Nitya has this power that he can manifest Gaura anywhere by his intense bhakti. He has this power. Because the mood of Nityananda Prabhu is so intense that by his intense call, by his intense mode of devotional service, he pulls Lord Gaura wherever he is to that place. So when in Raghav Pandit's house, when all this ecstasy was going on for 3 months, in between there was a pastime that happened. Nityananda Prabhu suddenly, he sat on the throne of Vishnu. Are you able to remember some pastime similar which Gauranga did? Mahaprakash Leela. So he also sat on the throne. And he told Raghav Pandit, do Abhishek. And devotees got huge pots with water, scented water. And they started pouring on Nityananda Prabhu. Raghav Pandit and other devotees, they personally dressed Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu at that time, he had a desire. And he said, I want a garland of Kadamba flowers. And Raghav Pandit was taken aback. He was like, Kadamba flowers? Kadamba flowers don't grow in this place. Oh Lord, how will I fulfill this instruction of yours? And Nityananda Prabhu looked at him and he smiled and he said, go inside your house, you'll find Kadamba flowers. He went inside the house in some place where the lemon tree was growing. In that lemon tree, Kadamba flowers had grown. Nityananda Prabhu, he is Nityananda Prabhu. And Raghav Pandit was astonished to see that, and looking at that, he was ecstatic, rolling on the ground, chanting the holy names of Nityananda Prabhu. Jai, Jai, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And then he arrested his ecstasies, and he said, no, service is given. He took all those flowers, he made the garland, and he offered it to Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu wore that. And Nityananda Prabhu was very blissful, wearing those beautiful flower garland. Very, very fragrant. And after some time, Nityananda Prabhu asked all of them, are you all able to smell some other flower also in this place? And when this was asked, that the other devotees who were there, they said, yes, we are able to smell the fragrance of Damanaka flowers. And these Damanaka flowers are only found in Jagannath Puri, nowhere else. Now, the devotees started asking, oh Lord, what is the secret? And at that time, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, when we were chanting and dancing, at that time, Lord Chaitanya from Jagannath Puri, he came here and he was sitting here in this place, leaning at a tree, taking support of a tree, and he was relishing our chanting and dancing. And he was wearing those garlands of those transcendental flowers called Damanaka flowers, and that fragrance is here in this place. And all the devotees were so happy and ecstatic. All of them, they loudly chanted, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nityananda Prabhu can manifest Gauranga anywhere by his intense devotion. Another pastime. In the Panihati festival, where Chida Dahi was given to everyone. Who gave Chida Dahi to everyone? Raghunath Das Goswami. He gave pots to everyone. Two pots everyone had. And the description says that the crowd was so much. Nityananda Prabhu and his associates were sitting on a raised platform, and there were devotees in circles, and the land was short. People entered the waters and they were holding pots in the hand. And people were standing, there were people sitting on the trees holding the pots. And at that time they were waiting for Nityananda Prabhu to start having the Chida Dahi. And at that time it is described that Nityananda Prabhu had asked Raghunath Das Goswami, put a seat here besides me. And he didn't allow anyone to sit. Other devotees said that seat was empty. And Nityananda Prabhu at that time, by his intense devotion, he made Gauranga appear from Jagannath Puri to that place. And at that time, Gauranga is sitting there, Nityananda Prabhu is sitting there. He took the pots which were given, because 2 pots were there in front of him and 2 in front of that seat which was empty, seemingly empty. And he started taking the morsels, from that pot, and he started feeding Gauranga. And no one was able to understand what is going on. Because the food was going and food was disappearing. The food was going close, it was disappearing. And only Nityananda Prabhu was knowing what's happening. And then both Gauranga and Nityananda got up from that place. Everyone is able to see Nityananda, no one is able to see Gauranga. And the pots were held, everyone was holding the pots. So Nityananda Prabhu was taking some morsels of different pots, and then he was pushing that into the mouth of Gauranga. People are able to see that Chiradahi is going and then disappearing. This was going on. Can you imagine the power of Nityananda Prabhu's intense devotion? He can manifest Gaura anywhere. Anywhere. Therefore, this is a very important thing to note, that anyone who has Krishna can give Krishna. Anyone who has an intense mood of devotion can give intense mood of devotion to others. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Krishna se toma, Krishna dete par, tumara shakti ache. He has the power. Nityananda Prabhu has that power. He can manifest Gaura anywhere. And surely, he can manifest Gaura in the dirty hearts of ours as well. He can cleanse our heart. And he can manifest Gaura there. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur, he begs and prays to Nityananda Prabhu. Arka benitai chander, karuna hoibe, samsara basana mora, kabe tuchha habe. Anyone who receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, their hearts will get cleansed. Therefore, it is very, very important to pray for his mercy. Following in the footsteps of this Adi Guru, our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he manifested not just Gaura, but Nitai also, in different parts of the entire world. See, when the deities are invoked, when Pran Pratishtha of deities are done, it's a 3 to 5 days event. A lot of activities are done in that. A lot of mantras are chanted. Elaborate Abhishek is done. One day I was watching Srila Prabhupada's one video of installation of Gaur Nitai. The only thing that was happening to me was, I think, goosebumps I was getting. Because what Srila Prabhupada was doing was next level. He and one of his disciples, they were having spoon in the hand. The same spoon with which we serve sambar. That spoon. And they were taking milk from that and pouring on Gaur Nitai deities. I was thinking, this is what Srila Prabhupada has done. Srila Prabhupada's intense devotion is to such an extent that he can manifest Gauranga and Nityananda with spoons also. There's no need of conch. Another place, when the first set of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra were installed, so at that time, Srila Prabhupada, he told devotees, what is the installation ceremony all about? He said, get candles. And he told disciples that move these candles in circles. First to Jagannath, Balram, and then Subhadra, and then Sudarshan. And then the first devotee was doing, he was doing, he was getting tired. And Srila Prabhupada said, all of you can do this, turn by turn. Can you imagine all those disciples, they did that. And then Srila Prabhupada started his kirtan. And then he says, when by the way all this was happening, Srila Prabhupada was doing kirtan. And after that, Srila Prabhupada ends the kirtan and he says, so the installation of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra and Sudarshan is successful. Please serve them nicely. My God. Srila Prabhupada's intense mood of devotional service, that by his intense bhakti, he can pull the Lord from anywhere and everywhere and install them in these Mlecha Desh. Srila Prabhupada was able to manifest Radha and Krishna in different places. Srila Prabhupada was able to manifest Gauranga and Nityananda. Srila Prabhupada is able to manifest Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sudarshan. Not just the deity, Srila Prabhupada is able to manifest the entire Vrindavan Dham in the Western country. Not just Western country, he was able to manifest Vrindavan everywhere. And that Vrindavan is called as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And today we see that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by his intense bhakti, he has manifested the Lord in different places. And people like us who have no qualification, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are able to practice devotional service. Therefore, on this auspicious day of Nityananda Prabhu, we have to meditate on these 5 qualities. As I said, the innumerable qualities. And we can just go on and on and on. But I'm not the right person because I don't have that attachment to Lord Nityananda so much. Maybe those devotees, who have attachment to the Lord, they can speak for hours together, glorifying. But we as Baddha Jivas, we as fallen souls, we can meditate on these 5 qualities and pray to the Lord that may I also get the tinge, iota, or in the language of great sannyasis of ISKCON, particle of the drop of ocean of your qualities. And these are the 5 qualities which we can meditate on. N, never rejects anyone. Second, I, immersed in service. N-I-T, tolerance and humility. A, attachment to the holy name. And I, intense bhakti, intense mood of bhakti. So in this way, on this auspicious day of Nityananda Trayodasi, let's pray to Nityananda Prabhu. Let's beg for his mercy. He is that personality who can deliver, who has proved by his own pastime, by giving a testimonial to all of us, that I deliver the most fallen souls. Are you most fallen? No, I'm not. He'll ask us. At that time, we should say yes. When Nityananda is asking, are you most fallen? And we should be like, yes, I am that same combined incarnation of Jagai and Madhai. You delivered Jagai and Madhai. Oh, please deliver me also. So let's pray intensely to Nityananda Prabhu. The way he delivered Jagai and Madhai and killed the demonic tendencies within them. May he kill our demonic tendencies, which are troubling us when we are practicing devotional service. Let's pray to him that we have no attachment to bhakti, no attachment to Gaura, no attachment to the holy name. Oh Lord, please bless us with some attachment. And let's remember Lochandas Thakur's strong statement. What was that strong statement? What is that line? Say papi. What's the exact line? I also forgot. Hene avatara jara ratina janmila. All those people who have not developed attachment to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Lochan bole say papi. Elavara gelo. So you pray to the Lord that I don't have any attachment to your lotus feet also. Nor I have attachment to the lotus feet of my Gurudev. Or for the Acharya. Please help me. Please bless me. With attachment, attraction, and taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord and serving the Lordships in Vrindavan consciousness. Thank you very much. Srila Nityananda Prabhu ki, Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki, Jai.